Hey there, guys. It's the Healthy Life Coach 702. Just reaching out to give you a few tips about healthy relationships. For those of you that don't know, my name's Veronica. Many people call me Ronnie for short. And my whole focus is living a healthier, balanced life. I'm not talking about perfection. Sometimes people think, health, oh, it's perfect body, perfect everything. No, none of us are perfect, and I don't seek for perfection. I'm always seeking to improve. And things that I learn, I love to share with others. So, getting back to healthy relationships, and I believe that starts at home. Um, that starts with the parents, that starts when a child is in the womb. Um, Many times I can speak to the Black culture, African American culture, and so on. Because being in this country, America, we've gone through so many trials and tribulations from slavery and still blatant discrimination and brutality and so on. And all of that is trauma. So if you're carrying a baby and you're experiencing that, or any type of abuse, that can definitely affect the baby and how they bond and how the mother bonds. And even after you're born, if you have parents that don't or don't know how to be affectionate, don't know how to or weren't accustomed to hearing I love you themselves from their own parents, you can't give a child what you haven't received. You can't give another person what you are lacking. So many times you have parents that can't say the simple words I love you, or express it in the form of a hug or kisses. Sometimes some parents may feel, oh, well, I provided a roof over your head, I got food on the table, you should know that I love you. Unfortunately, that is not true. Many times, especially women, if you're not getting that, love and getting it cultivated from home, you'll end up attracting the wrong kind of people because you're not clear on what love is, and someone may be showing you some type of attention, but it's not necessarily affection. It's not necessarily coming from a loving place. It could be just coming from a place of lust. And many times this is, can result in women or young girls even, getting into relationships with um, young men thinking that it's love. And, it could result in a situation of, ending up being a single parent at a very young age or even later in life. Because if you don't receive that love at home, it's not expressed to you or it's not demonstrated to you in conjunction with being expressed, people can be confused. And many times, we have like these dual standards where, young boys, young men are taught to, conquer all, sleep with as many women or, young girls, from a young age as you can. But yet you're telling, the young girls or, hey, no, keep your dress down, and so on. Well, these boys or young men can't conquer if you're not, if both aren't participating. And again, if that young woman is not taught what true love is, she may think that attention is love and may go through a number of situations where someone's showing attention, maybe the wrong attention, and they're mistaking it for love because they weren't taught it at home. And, so it's very important as parents to try to create a loving, peaceful environment, starting from, pregnancy and moving forward. And if it becomes, a situation where it's not a great environment, I know many, that have gotten married, they are against divorce. I'm not encouraging divorce, but if it's not a healthy situation, you have to, deal with that with God and do what's best for your mental, your children, your emotional being, and ultimately ultimately your health, because if your mental's not right, your emotional is not right, it's going to affect your health in more ways than one. And for many women, it can result in different medical conditions, the number one being cancer. Um, so again, as parents, we have to really focus on the environment and not worry about what others may think or say. Or you may have been brought up in a home where the parents are married for many years, but sometimes people marry for convenience. Sometimes people marry for money. Sometimes, oh, it's cheaper to keep her. Um, and they may be on two different paths, but you have to think about what's healthy for you and those and your children. And many times that means leaning into your faith. That means that you have to trust God. You have to go to him and with your concerns, and ask him for help, and ask him to guide you, send the Holy Spirit to guide you. And again, many times we worry about what people think. Oh, well, if I get divorced, what is my family going to say? What are they going to think? Again, I believe that's between you and God. You have to do what's right for you, and because you only have one life to live. You can't live your life based on what other people think. And especially, in some family or even friend dynamics, you have certain family members, you go to them, in confidence, and you ask, please don't repeat this to someone. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to, and just, sometimes even hearing yourself verbalize it out loud, that helps. But then when you have someone that can't wait to hang up the phone and dial in everybody else, and then, a long lost relative that you haven't even spoken to in maybe 20 years, and they get on the phone and say, oh, are you still doing this? Or are you still dealing with these kind of men and this and that? And it's like, wait a minute, I haven't even talked to you, But so you have to be careful who you speak to. And then some people will give you lame excuses. Well, I was taught that I'm holding so many secrets. It's just easier for me to tell. But you have to stop and think. Some things, if you have permission to tell someone's, closest secrets, sorrows, emotional letdowns, traumas, if you have permission to repeat that, great. But if you don't have that permission, it falls up under the category of gossip. And gossip hurts many people because most times people don't know the whole story. They will place judgment. You can be, certain family members don't deal with you because of what someone has said, and it can trickle down. It could trickle down to, it may be, your daughter, then her daughter, and they don't deal with you because of something that's said. So again, starting at home, be mindful of what you repeat. Keep things close to your heart, because in reality, we do want people to treat us fairly. We do want people to treat us with care and treat our feelings and personal business with care. Another thing, as it relates to love, again, if you haven't it hasn't been demonstrated for you, think about, even make a list. I love lists. 100 thoughts that just come to mind. What does love look like for you? What do you want in a partner? And those are the things that you want to demonstrate to others, what you want to receive, because what you put out into the universe does come back to you. And so you may have not, had that modeled for you, and you may not even know how to, go about that. That may be, a time where you may have to do some research on your own, read some books, listen to some podcasts, read the Bible, because that, in my opinion, is the guide to life, how we should live life, how we should treat one another, how we should interact with one another. Sometimes it may call for, either a life coach or either a therapist. Some people say, what's the difference? A life coach deals with where you are right now and where you're trying to go. A therapist, they go to the root and moving forward. Therapy is usually, ongoing. Coaching is, for a specific amount of time. You